Oh, well, not happy Friday, happy Thursday. By the way, if you're wondering where the show is, we're not doing it today. Actually, I've made the constitutional right to not do the show today. Nothing like I'm not telling I didn't feel like doing it. It's just there's a lot of things going on to where, like, for example, I was at the DMV earlier, so yeah, a lot of things going on. So like, we're not doing a typical show. We are doing like a separate video, breaking news, going over the Marvel news that's come out in the last 24, 48 hours or so. We'll also do a very quick Bucs Panthers prediction. So not a typical show today. We're doing it this way. It is what it is. But hey, at least we're going to put something out there today. We also do Bucs first, and we'll get to the Marvel stuff. We have a quick little video here. Bucs Panthers. This will be I think a 1 o'clock game on Fox. Mark Sheriff and then will be there. Chris Myers. Tampa is a 3.5 point favorite. Somehow, some way, they're 3.5 point favorite. They need to win this game and the next Carolina game to ensure they'll be in the playoffs. That is obvious here, based on how things have gone this year. And my worry here in this game is that it's on the road, so we're going into what I believe is probably the biggest game in Bank of America Stadium in about 5 or 6 years or so. So it's been a while since this game's meant something, and it's going to mean something this year. Certainly this one and the next one in about a week or so. Well, a week and a half. But obviously for Tampa, is you have to get off to a very fast start and hopefully and pray your defense is going to do well. Because they've not done well for the most part. I mean, last week against the Falcons, had a decent lead, let it go away. Game against the Saints, I don't think you did end up leading in that game at all, but you let the Saints win that game. You gotta play a complete game here. No turnovers, no bad situational football. You cannot let those things happen. You cannot do that. Because I think this Panthers team, like in past years, like they're a for real team. Like I know they're more of a bipolar team, but like Tampa's kind of the same thing. But even though they've shown to have more abilities to be more of a consistent team, they just haven't shown it lately. They were more consistent earlier in the year. Now it's who knows. So yeah, both of these teams are, in a lot of sense, a mirror image of each other, and I mean they basically clones of each other, which is kind of weird. But for Tampa, obviously the defense and the backfield, right, the secondary, that's my biggest concern here. It's not the pass rush. We've seen that Tampa can still win games without having the pass rush. It's not the offense. I think the offense has been fine. It's that pass defense, and they've given up a whole bunch of big plays, even in a lot of their wins this year. And my fear is, I can just imagine, Bryce Young running around, scrambling, finding the McMillan kid from Arizona, rookie. He's wide open for a big 50-yard gain, something like that. I'm expecting that offense to have a big day. Of course, it's Dave Canales. He knows Taubles. He was, of course, Tampa's former OC. I'm expecting that they will probably have a good plan to attack this defense that has been very vulnerable, and that is very scary. So the fact that it is at home, the fact that it's at home, Tampa, granted, they do have a bit of a mini bye week because they have, they play Thursday, so they're a little more rested than the Panthers are. So that does help. And of course, the other issue is, well, how healthy is Tampa? We've heard that Lavonte David has not been practicing. He's probably going to be out. Some other folks we don't know about yet. I'm assuming the receiver course should be okay to go, but in this modern era of NFL, you never know. You can have your starters one week and then have like half of them the next week. So a lot of those injuries can hurt during the game. They don't realize until during the week. But my feel is that your defense, especially the linebackers, is going to be probably the new area with injuries. Wide receiver core, Mike Evans, McMillan, Jalen, Ibuka, Chris, they should all be ready to go. I think they should be ready and healthy, able to go. I don't know about the linebackers. The secondary can't do the same thing. It's like, Anton Whitfield can't do everything, and he's been having to do a lot, and he can't be at one place at every time. So you are going to be going against, if you're Tampa, the best passing attack you faced probably. I don't know about all year, because there's been some other teams that are a little bit better in passing the football. It's certainly one of the best ones you've faced lately, and that's a challenge. And of course, Bryce Young, mobile quarterback, that's been a problem for Tampa this year. So this is going to be tough. And again, according to FanDuel, they are 3-point favorites somehow. I guess if you were to do the power ratings thing, maybe Tampa would be ahead of them, ahead of the Panthers. But again, I've said this before. I'm no nihilist. I'm not some negative person, especially when Tampa starts to lose. But knowing where this team is right now and knowing how bipolar they have gotten, and look, the Panthers are the same way. You can go either way with this game. You can make the Panthers to win, you can make the Bucs to win. It would surprise me a little bit if Tampa does get blown out. It would not surprise me if the Panthers get blown out. We've seen that happen before. Okay, we've seen the Panthers get blown out. Tampa, they've only been blown out once, and that was against en route at the Rams. So, and they're legit like good teams. So they've not been blown out like more than once, if I recall correctly. Whereas Panthers have been blown out. So that is one thing Tampa has on their hang your hat on, is that they have not had multiple like big losses to where you've like the margin was pretty significant. They haven't had that yet. The Panthers have had that, and with Tampa, with of course, another way you can look at it, the division, the locker room, everyone's kind of mad right now, and it's understandable, right? You've probably seen the footage of Mike Evans saying it was 3rd and 28. It was 3rd and 28 after last week's game. There's a lot of emotions going on right now in Tampa. A lot of emotions going on in that building, and there's a lot of feelings going on around that building about Todd Bowles' future and what that will look like. The Panthers losing last week, though, gave Tampa a little bit of glimmer of hope. Look, with all the negativity going around, they're still technically first place in the division because they beat San Francisco and the Panthers did not. So, and I also believe the Bucs win over the Seahawks is also helping as well. So your strength of schedule, common opponents there is helping you. So those wins early in the year are looking more and more important now going forward. But I mean, look, they're important anyway because they're NFC teams. But I've been very conflicted on this game. Very, very conflicted. Originally, I wasn't to pick the Panthers to win and cover the spread. But after thinking about it, knowing where Tampa's at right now, knowing that they have historically, at least somewhat throughout the Todd Bowles era, except for one game in Tom Brady's final year, have done very well of taking care of the Panthers. I think this game is kind of a loss. It's kind of last year's game. Very similar timeline. It was like the week before Christmas or a week after. Actually, no, it was a week, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, right? Kind of similar vibes. Tampa's kind of teeter-tottering a little bit, kind of, who knows? No, that's not the best way to describe it. Yeah, it's kind of like this right now. They're either here or up here, like whatever. So, yeah, a lot of uncertainty. But that game last year in Carolina, they won. Somehow, some way, that kind of became a springboard for them. Can this game be that? I think it could, based on what you have weapons-wise on the offense. You're finally starting to get healthy, and you're kind of getting back to where you were during that 5-1, 6-2 start. Great to the defense. I mean, look, the defense hasn't been good all year, so that's not been a surprise. Just it's been a very consistent issue. So, all that being said, I think somehow, some way, I think Tampa win this game. I don't have much of a follow on the line. I think the line's probably right. I think the Bucs do win, and they go to the Dolphins the week after. So that'll be the week of Christmas, that Saturday after, or Saturday after, Sunday after, and then they return home for the Panthers game to finish out the year. I believe that's how it's going. So yeah, 3 more games left in the season. Then you have potentially the playoffs, or you're on the way to Cancun. So I'm going to take the Bucs to win. No feeling the money line. As for the Marvel news, so as we've talked about on the Tuesday show, the show we did this week, only one. The first Doomsday trailer, the first piece of marketing for Avengers Doomsday came out. It started leaking out on Monday. It's of course, Steve Rogers, Chris Evans come back as Steve Rogers, Captain America. So we've known that for the last 72 hours, right? Now, within the last 48 hours or so, this certainly went down Tuesday and parts of yesterday. So yesterday, I guess the less surprising one was we started to get, even went the last 12 hours too, but let's go back to, I guess, to yesterday. So yesterday morning, we start to hear stuff about, hey, the next sort of character teaser, piece of marketing for Doomsday is going to be focused on Thor. And so that description comes out, and then the audio comes out, sort of like what happened with the Captain America, Steve Rogers piece of marketing, right? First, you heard the description, then we started to get a couple of screenshots, then the whole thing started leaking out, and Disney started taking it down, which signals that was actually real, and it is legit. Now, the Thor thing's coming out from in a similar way. That is also real. You also are seeing Marvel starting to take down some of those leaked audio stuff. No images yet, no images yet, but I'm assuming those will be coming here in the next, probably this weekend, similar to what happened with the first one. But as for the next ones, in terms of like how the rest of the marketing is going to go, I guess for Doomsday is the next one's apparently Loki, and then the fourth one's apparently Doom. So we're not actually getting an actual teaser initially, but the thinking is apparently that Marvel might be doing something during the Super Bowl. Now, initially, I thought it was going to be, Spider-Man Brand New Day, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Apparently, that's not the case, and apparently that trailer is coming out. Well, it's supposed to come out, next week of a Sony movie releasing around Christmas. Might be still the case, but again, we'll get to that in a minute. But apparently, Marvel is going to release an actual Doomsday teaser with footage of all the characters and showing off the X-Men. That's happening during the Super Bowl. Now, I thought it was going to happen during like the cultural playoff, and that's changed. I think it's still like that's where I think the window's going to open up. Wherever it's like it's going to start probably with the College Football National Championships. They've done Disney-related movie stuff of that. So the window opens of that, which will be Martin Luther King Day, goes all the way until the Super Bowl. So that's that window for the first teaser, or at least that's what it's looking like right now. And this is something I speculated back on Twitter, like probably a few days ago. So it looks like that's right, that it's going to open with National Championship. That's when the window starts, and then it's going to end with the Super Bowl. At least the timeline there to get a teaser here pretty soon. At least a full-on teaser that will be released on the internet. And yes, I do believe these, like at the moment, theater exclusive little clips, those are probably going to get released online before that actual teaser comes out. So within the next month or so, like January, early February is when those will probably come out. More likely, but who knows? With all the leaks going on, Marvel may just say, screw it, we're putting these out early than we thought. So that's the thinking there. Now, as for the Spider-Man stuff, that trailer started to leak on yesterday, or actually, was it Tuesday? It was actually, it was Tuesday after we did the show, ironically. It was after the show and we did everything. We started to get stuff about, hey, there's some stuff about Spider-Man, there's some leaked audio and stuff like that, and then it turns out like the full trailer was leaked. Now, the story is that what ended up happening is that this was sent out through, I'm assuming, a Marvel's marketing or PR team as like a survey of, or at least kind of like a survey type thing, like a focus group type thing, where it's like, hey, here's this trailer we're releasing at some point in the near future. You were chosen to watch this rough version. What do you like? What you dislike? You send us your feedback, yada, yada, yada. Now, apparently, initially we thought, okay, this was done recently, but no, it was done like probably back in like August, or like between August and October, so around like late summer, early fall. So that's interesting. That I was like, it's been a few months ago. I was like, this was done a few months ago, and someone now just decided to publish the footage. And a lot of it's hard to make out, but it's very clearly like you see like the Punisher, you see Bruce Banner Hulk, you also see who Sadie Sink's playing. I know a lot of folks are really honing on Jean Grey because of what Jeff Snyder said about almost a year ago about, hey, if you don't know, she's the one of the cast members from Stranger Things. And this was reported about by, again, like almost a year ago from Jeff Snyder on his show with John Roca, and he reported when he initially heard that, hey, she's joining, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He said, hey, I'm hearing she's playing Jean Grey, who was, of course, Phoenix from the X-Men. And we know for a long time that, of course, Feige and the folks over there have been wanting to put in the X-Men, mainly the MCU version. On the Fox version, that's different. We've known that they've been trying to get them in. Of course, starting off with Multiverse of Madness and with Deadpool and Wolverine, now with the next Avengers films. As for the main MCU X-Men, we have known that their plan is to, or at least their plan was originally to, bring them in very slowly. And, Feige years ago said, hey, we have a 5-year plan for them. You'll see. I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said you'll see it. Now we're starting to see it. And I do agree with Josh over at Damn Nerds. I think she's playing Jean Grey. I think there's a lot of misdirection. I think there's a lot of misinformation that is purposely put out there from Marvel to kind of get the typical leakers and scoopers to kind of be more hesitant to put out information. I think it's fairly clear. I know Alex Perez put out an article earlier on the Cosmic Circus saying, hey, I think she's playing this character. And what I kind of agree with Josh over at Den of Nerds. That's a good, that's an interesting sort of conclusion, but I agree with him. I think she's playing Jean Grey. I think it would really shock me that's not the case. Now, it's non-zero, but it would shock me. I think based on the fact that they are willing to start introducing the mutant characters, the main version of the Fox versions, these new, X-Men members, I think it's very clear that their 5-year plan is like starting now, kind of, and it's starting to happen. And we can talk more about this once the show comes back after the holidays, more about this. But yeah, I think she's playing Jean Grey. I think it's pretty clear. But we get Bruce Banner Hulk and Mark Ruffalo. We also get John Bernthal as Punisher in there. And the action stuff for that range shows like potato quality footage. And again, for those of you who are wondering, like, man, why is that footage always like that? Well, the reason why we're doing it is because it's heavily edited, right? You can do filters and stuff on all these video software stuff to make the quality really shitty on purpose. So that's why we're doing it. So realistically, if you, like, for example, you're going to put the footage in AI or something, it could easily clean it up. But yeah, I mean, that footage is not like, no, someone's not using some crappy, like shitty camera to record that. No, they recorded on their phones and they purposely doctored the footage to make it like really shitty and hard to make out. So there's like people do that on purpose just because they don't want to get copyright, but they'll get it anyway. But even that stuff, and initially people thought, oh, this is fake and whatnot, this is AI. But then once they started to see, oh, it's getting taken down, like this is actually serious. So yeah, that footage is real. Now, what happened last night? This is the last thing we'll cover, and then we'll end the video. Last part of breaking news here in terms of the Marvel stuff, and look, there's other stuff going on too, the transfer portal and whatnot. We'll cover all that when we come back from the show in about a week and a half. Now this, I don't know if this is real or not. Like, this was someone who is friends of Josh over at Den of Nerds, who has been kind of giving sort of a new leaker that's been kind of getting this information. Like, he's been getting like descriptions of, for example, the Thor teaser and whatnot, and I think he was the one who teased out the Loki, sort of the Loki kind of teaser for Doomsday. It's coming out next week or within the next few weeks and whatnot. Now, this new guy, I forget the guy's name. I think it's like something Doom, I believe. But yeah, he's friends of Den of Nerds, Josh, and he put out something last night. I was like almost around midnight. It's supposedly the Fox X-Men's theme for Doomsday, and I think a lot of folks are saying, like, bro, this might be actually real. Like, this sounds kind of legit. Like, it's almost like someone from Marvel or one of these, like maybe one of their outsourced, VFX companies had access to the file and they like sent it to him, whoever this guy is. That's probably what happened, right? That's, someone access to the music file, sent it over to this random guy on Twitter X, and he's put it out there for everyone to listen to. I don't think it's been taken down yet. And that's the only thing. It's like, okay, since it's not been taken down, that's where we're like, okay, is this some like remix or whatever? Did someone like do this on their own? And look, I know this guy is kind of new and whatnot. I don't know for sure, but based on the fact that he's gotten a lot of stuff correct, leads me to believe this might be real, or at least maybe like a heavily doctored version. This thing you probably check here on my phone here on Twitter, because I did mention something about it. I mentioned something about it last night. Gonna see if it's still, yeah, the clip's still on there. It's a Doom Servant. Yeah, this is posted at like 11 o'clock last night, and it's not been taken down, which leads me to believe it might be fake, but it might not be fake. Like, it may just be Disney maybe doesn't, like, they don't, like, they haven't found it yet. I don't know, but apparently that's the new theme for the Fox X-Men. And look, it could be fake, but I don't know how that would go to make. I know you can do AI songs and stuff, but I don't like, that's a really good fake if it's fake. If it's real, then that's kind of strange how Disney's not taking it down yet, which has led some people to believe that maybe they just haven't seen it yet, or maybe they're kind of confused. So here's my theory here on that music that was released. Either it's legit and Disney has been very, very slow to take it down, sort of like the leaked images or leaked footage of the Steve Rogers, a Doomsday teaser, or it's a really good fake, like a remix or whatever, that is based off of what this guy may have heard that he hasn't published yet. I don't know, but I'm leaning towards it's probably real and that Disney's really been slow to like take it down, which is interesting. But given what happened a couple days ago with the whole Steve Rogers teaser from Doomsday, and it took them like 5 hours to finally start taking it down, and this is now what, 24 hours almost, or someone getting close. I know it's 3 o'clock right now as I'm recording, but anyway, still, that's, I listened to it. Definitely some hints of the old Fox X-Men, the original, not the new one with, the First Class and whatnot. But man, look, it sounds legit enough. But again, I don't know if it's like a remix or someone like actually did some clever editing. I don't know. But I mean, it sounds legit. It sounds cool. It makes me wonder, hey, does that mean that there is a teaser that is coming reasonably soon? I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of a recap there on the Marvel news stuff. Again, a lot of stuff happening right now, and it's happening fast. And I would just say this. I don't know if we're going to do a video tomorrow. I doubt it. I think this will be the last one, at least before Christmas. But there might be some stuff tomorrow too. Like could be some stuff like popping off any day now. Some big stuff. I mean, we still even. I mean, trust me. It just says a bit of a warning here, and we'll end the video. Just be careful what you see on Twitter and X and social media. There's a lot of AI slop, and look, that's whatever. I mean, that's been around for like a year now, of fake AI trailers and stuff. And there's one in particular where it's like saying, "Oh, this is supposedly a scene from Doomsday," and it's RDJ's Doctor Doom meeting up with Steve Rogers, and it's some like Polar Express bullshit. It's like a fucking like video game cutscene or whatever. It looks really bad and whatnot. And it's one of those like weird AI, like weird. Yeah, it's one of that slop. And there's other ones too out there, and they're being, they're getting a lot of views, but you can definitely tell they're AI, and they look very much like a video game cutscene. But just be careful, like what's real, what's not real. And again, the main thing you can tell if it's real or not is if it starts to get taken down. And we've already seen that with the Thor audio. We're seeing it clearly with the Chris Evans, Steve Rogers footage that's been leaking ever since the beginning of the week. So just be aware, there's a lot of AI slop out there, but there's also a lot of real stuff that we can also deter that as real, not AI. So just put it out there. But yeah, that's the breaking news. Thoughts on the Bucs Panthers game again. Sorry for no show today. We couldn't do it today. There was no time for it. We might try to record something later. I'm thinking might do a extra pod later and have it published next week. I have one coming out, I believe Tuesday, unless I change it up a little bit. But we'll see with that. If it doesn't release, that means we just decide not to put it out there. It's not like it was bad at anything. It's just maybe I forgot to do something with it or decide not to. But yeah, I may record an extra pod later. We'll see later this evening. We'll do another Q&A. But yeah, no shows next week, obviously, and then let's see here. My plan is to maybe be back, like the 1st of January or whatnot, or maybe that before. But the next time you'll probably get a full week of shows will be like the week of the 5th. So that's when we'll be back rolling and going here with the show. But yeah, for the most part, it's done. Now, if there's any breaking news, if we're like on, when I'm visiting family for the holidays here in the next week or so, I'll bring my microphone and stuff just in case. Like maybe I'll do something outside and I'll do a little quick walking video. But I'm probably unlikely, but we'll see. But yeah, for the most part, if anything happens, I'll do some reactions on Twitter. Obviously, they're not going to be videos, but they'll be, types of reactions. But yeah, I mean, again, we'll do the show when we come back. And of course, we have the playoffs this weekend. And debating on doing reactions to those. We'll see. Maybe we'll do something on Sunday night. We'll see. Just stay tuned to what we do here. Again, this is my show, right? We are independent media and whatnot, and we don't have no one's managing us. Our own managers ourselves. So yeah, that's it for the video here. Little video here to kind of go over some cover breaking news. A lot of Marvel news too, by the way. Probably the most Marvel news we have had since this show started in a long time. Probably since the show. Probably ever since the show has started with, that was about a year and a half ago, or getting close to 2 years now. So how about that? And like I've been saying, man, this month's gonna be crazy. And if any indications, this next most of next year's gonna be crazy as well. I mean, with all the stuff's going on. So just be aware, there's a lot of stuff happening. It's happening very fast. Again, if you're looking for immediate reaction, go to my Twitter. That should be in the description of the channel. We'll try to get this video uploaded tonight. So until you'll be seeing me with the extra pods. Again, we might try to do one tonight. We'll get it cranked out next week. But yeah, so until, in terms of the next time you'll see me more likely on the video, will be in the new year. Again, our goal, by the way, is to get to 20 subscribers. We need 10 more here. We got 7-ish days plus until we do that. So I mean, look, the show's not going anywhere if you don't get that, but just it'll be nice. But yeah, it's it for this little video here. Again, talking about all the breaking news stuff. So until the new year, hopefully by then we'll have 20 subscribers. Very unlikely, but unfortunately, probably not. But it was a good try. But we're still going forward for it. So until the new year, take care. Have a great Christmas holidays. Enjoy. Whatever you're doing, you're staying home or traveling. A lot of folks are doing it this weekend and early next week. So Beware of that. Enjoy the games this weekend, both the NFL and college. I believe Saturday has both the two G5 playoff games in the evening. We have NFL games and then NFL games galore Sunday. Very busy stuff. So, and a lot of big consequential games too for NFL. And of course, have the playoff games, OU Bama tomorrow. So until New Year, enjoy the games, enjoy the holidays, enjoy your friends and family. And we'll see you guys in January for live shows restarting probably then maybe late December, but I can't promise that. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe if we get back early enough, we'll do like a show on New Year's Eve, like New Year's Eve special or something late. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a couple drinks too, something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, until then, take care. Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy the games this weekend, and we'll see you guys in at least on the channel like this in January.